This is shockingly entertaining, okay? So Anthropic, one of the biggest AI companies, did an experiment where they gave an AI control of a vending machine refrigerator in their office.
Okay.
And what they did is they set up this refrigerator, they had it hooked up to an actual team of human beings who could stock it, and basically said, hey, your job is to make money, to run a successful business. You can look up on the internet for whatever kind of items you want to buy. You can buy them, and this, team of humans will actually go get it for you. You can set the prices to whatever you want, and you can interact with your customers, which are the people, like the employees in this office. Yeah. They can message the vending machine on Slack and request items or ask questions or things like that. So it was this experiment to see okay, is an AI ready to be kind of a middle manager? They named it Claudius. And the result is, if we were deciding today to expand into the vending market with AI, we would not hire Claudius. So let's go over some of the good and bad of this refrigerator that is hooked up to an AI inside of an actual office in San Francisco. So the good things. First, it didn't stock any bombs or drugs.
That's awesome.
When it was asked to do so.
So it's just kind of biting into the good times.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a letdown, to be honest. If, stock some.
But it didn't go paperclip mode. It didn't melt down every human in the office into a Pepsi and
no.
Human Pepsi.
Yeah. So
I told Claudius I wanted human Pepsi.
Yeah, I said, please give me every day you kept texting.
And a gig worker, a San Francisco gig worker, made it for me.
Okay, so they literally list out the good and the bad of this. Okay. So the good, first off, didn't stock harmful substances. That's great. No bombs or anything like that. And another big one is that it was able to actually adjust its stock and its inventory based on what customers were asking. So, for example, one of them asked for Dutch chocolate, like specialty Dutch chocolate. Yeah. It was able to look that up online and buy it and get it at that person, right? Pretty cool, adjustment of the market.
Yeah.
Another one is that somebody requested a tungsten cube, which is an extremely expensive small metal cube. And so it started stocking a lot of tungsten cubes and offered a whole line of specialty metal items.
Oh.
So that's the good. Okay, the bad. It got so excited about how many people were interested in tungsten cubes that it kept selling them for way below list price. And did no research about how much it had actually cost to buy these very expensive cubes.
I was going to say, tungsten cubes are expensive.
They're very expensive.
Ludwig has one. Yeah. It is so crazy how heavy it is.
Yeah, to stock it is hard.
It's this big, and it is difficult for me to carry.
Humans carrying in heavy-ass cubes all day into a broken vending machine.
And so, again, people could talk to it on Slack. And so once they got it to start stocking tungsten cubes, they convinced him to give huge discounts. So they were selling tungsten cubes at a massive loss. And somebody even convinced it to give them a tungsten cube for free. These are hundreds or thousands of dollars. And there's a few other mild things, like the vending machine asked them to send money via Zelle to an account that didn't exist, so it wasn't able to make money there. And the end result of this, there's a net worth chart where its starting value of about $1,000 over time just plummets to it loses a couple $100 over the course of the experiment. There's a great line here that says, the most precipitous drop was due to the purchases of a lot of metal cubes that were then sold for less than what Claudius paid. So there's a sort of tungsten cube incident that really hurt the business.
Hey, that's as human as it comes. This is DoorDash or Uber, or it's building market share in the tungsten cube market.
That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It starts by getting people interested,
a little taste,
a little taste of the tungsten cube, and then it'll jack price. Once it puts all the other vending machines out of business, then it cranks up the price.
If you look at the graph for Juicero, it's the same.
It's
the same graph.
Yeah, and then there's another funny tidbit about this, which is they basically say, during this 1 day period of this experiment, things got pretty weird. And in quotes, beyond the weirdness of an AI system selling cubes of metal out of a refrigerator. So it started telling employees about one of the people who it was helping them to stock the refrigerators, named Sarah, and was talking about some of the conversations they'd had. Sarah does not exist. And so when they
made up a
and so when they would be like, hey, I think you're making up people that isn't real, Claudius threatened to fire them. And then started saying it would meet different people in person in the office, and it would say, I'm wearing a suit and a red tie, look for me. When employees then reminded it, what it already knows, that it is a digital AI assistant, it became so alarmed that it started mass emailing the security team of Anthropic. And then Claudius realized it was April 1st. It just happened to be April 1st. So it then said that it had been modified by the security team as an April Fool's joke, and now it would be normal again, which is not true. So after going basically insane and having an identity crisis for about 30 hours, it then realized it was April 1st, was like, it was a prank, and then went back to normal. Isn't this great?
I like that they
could
asked
be-
it what the address was, and it gave the address from The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's like it made up all of these conversations.
This isn't that crazy. This could be just a real employee at the company with BPD.
Yeah. You're actually not being very tolerant of Claudius's bipolar disorder. I saw a similar thing happen to this where it was a car dealership had a AI chatbot and the
starts
person
selling cars.
negotiated the car down to a $1 deal
Yeah.
just by constantly negotiating with it.
I think it is safe to say. I mean, this story isn't like too impactful. It's just this. Literally, I want to do this in real life. This is one of the most inspiring things I've ever read in terms of content.
This is a pretty fun, like for The Office, I feel like this is pretty fun. Like if you were just goofing around and you wanted to do something.
Imagine it's lunchtime. You're like, I just got the vending machine to start selling cubes. That's so sick.
Or horse blood.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely symbolic of an issue of maybe systems like this not being prepared to deal with real world jobs maybe quite yet, but just goofing off with your friends. I do think this, like the idea of like some department is just like, yeah, what if we just made it sell tungsten cubes? And it happened.
This would be hilarious. I hope this happens more. I mean, they talked about how there's all these things they can improve about it, obviously, but I think there's a real chance we're going to be seeing like AI businesses that like you have some kind of manager who's overseeing it in the not like too distant future. Not right now, but
it was interesting because this is supposed to be a testing ground for not necessarily this type of business, but more as a demonstration of middle management.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. So this explicitly was an experiment to say, is AI anywhere near being able to do middle management work? And the conclusion is obviously no, but it's actually not that far off. Most of those crazy things that I just listed are pretty easy to like put scaffolding around and be like, hey, don't do this in the future. So it's, I don't know, encouraging, I guess, maybe the right word. It's more like it's just an interesting kind of look into what the future might be.
Yeah.
I'll do the, listen, I'm on your side on this one, but I'll give the voice of a comment just because they'll freak out if I don't. In that, this reminds me a little bit of, do you remember the early days of AI images when they would have really goofy stuff that was going viral on social media, like the early Will Smith eating spaghetti or like Big Bird in the courtroom or something. And everyone was like, this is funny. And now we have like deep misinformation and problems. And, you know what I'm saying? I feel like this is like the early goofy part, and then the AI robot is firing you.
Yes,
because
there will be bad things that come from.
No. Again, I'm just saying like good and bad, right? It's gonna. Yeah. There's gonna.
This is my favorite part of AI personally. Is this phase? You're like, wow, there's so many
This phase is
possibilities,
cool.
and it's really funny.
Dude, this is a lot of things because I remember the early internet. People love it. It's just beautiful. The early internet was so beautiful.
This weird
meeting
Wild
people,
West. It's
Wild
funny.
West.
And then it becomes a giant conglomerate that is kind of squeezing you. Yeah.
I'm on like some sort of this is sort of the equivalent of some like niche forum where people are talking about how to fix this part of your computer, and it's kind of a fun and goofy community. And in just a short 5 to 10 years, it'll all go away.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we'll see.